What is going on, everybody? Today, I want to talk about a topic that is a little bit hot in the community right now, and that is the power gap that exists between high-level players and people who are new to the game or just don't have enough time to grind to get the high-tier loadout options. Now, high-level players do have an advantage, but it's not what you think. Yes, the high-tier signature weapons are good, but a high-level player's biggest advantage, just like in any game, is their skill and their knowledge. To be clear, the power gap exists, but it is made to seem a lot worse than it actually is because of the knowledge gaps amongst most classes of players. Now, there's 2 points that I want to focus on for this video. 1, the lack of information in this game makes it hard for new players to get their footing. And 2, high-level players' skill and knowledge is what makes them good, not their gear. Now, let's circle back and touch on point number 1. The lack of information in this game makes it hard for new players to get their footing. I kid you not. For the first few days of early access, my loadout was simply a Rattler and my Explorer's signature weapon. And the reason being that the Rattler was the best gun that I could find. You know, I kept asking myself, where are all these blue and purple guns that I know are in the game? I've seen them before, I just cannot find a blue or purple chest. What's happening? What's going on? I didn't have access to the Warsong and Predator wildcards at Tier 1 research like we do now, so it felt like my only viable option was the Rattler, and it turns out there were just a few things that I didn't actually know quite yet. For starters, you can get blue and purple guns from the big chests inside of ammo camps. Additionally, there is one specific resource camp, prefab, in the game that has a chance to spawn 2 colored weapon chests. And what that means is if you see this structure on your map, regardless of whether or not there is a resource chest in there, there are 2 spots where you can get a blue weapon chest or a purple weapon chest. They're not always there, but the chances are decently high. These are good for newer or lower level players to stop into and loot if they can. And next, the airdrop. Guys, I'm gonna tell you a secret, alright? The airdrop in this game is criminally uncontested. People hardly go for it because they either think somebody else is going to get there first, or they just don't want to spend the scrap. Now, the amount of times I've been able to peacefully open it, loot it, and leave is insane. Now, I understand that 600 scrap is a lot, but for low-level players, you can pool your resources and get a guaranteed chance at 3 blue weapons or higher. And it can even spit out those purple or gold signature weapons that you don't have access to yet. The amount of times I've gotten Halden's purple rifle, Letty's purple and gold revolver, maybe even Tarek's gold sniper are too high to count at this point, just for 600 scrap. Now, all of this just goes to show, if you know where to look, the gear is there for you. You just can't craft it like higher level players can. Next, the armor values. Did you know the difference between a green armor and a purple armor is only 30 HP? I bet you didn't, because the game doesn't tell you this stuff. Here are all of the health and armor values for you guys to take a look at. The game doesn't tell you any of these numbers, so it can lead to some things seeming more powerful than they are. Now, those are just a few examples of things the game does not tell you, but can make all the difference for you and your team when you're just starting out. Now, let's touch on my second point. High-level players' skill and knowledge is what makes them good, not the weapons that they use. Believe it or not, the hotfix that reduced scrap gains but raised crafting costs actually lends itself to my argument. The fact that more experienced players are still able to get their full loadout of purple shield with a high tier gun means that they are more efficient in their farming and are able to situate themselves in a fraction of the time. But the thing is, these guys aren't staying in a group and clearing out camps together. They are immediately splitting up and farming solo, clearing out camps and defending themselves with gray SMGs and bows, the same weapons that everybody else has in the beginning of the match. It's their knowledge of the AI, their early farming efficiency, and their game sense that allows them to excel. The same people that are topping the leaderboards with their tier 5 guns would likely be doing the same with the green signature weapons. I mean, think about it. Would the Halden who got right in your face with his purple rifle not have killed you if he had his blue or green AR? Would the Letty who just hit all 3 of her sledgehammer shots to your head do any worse with her green revolver that has double the magazine capacity? Or would the Tarek who just sniped you from the mountain for 60 be any worse off using his blue or green sniper and hitting you for 90 instead? It's understandable to not catch on to all the nuances of the game right away because it definitely takes time. But there are resources out there that'll help you, whether it be YouTube videos or the Scavengers wiki. I promise you, once the knowledge gap closes, the power gap will not feel nearly as big.